humanity. Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, The Voice.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
And welcome to Talking Politics. My name is Robert Press. I'm a reporter for the Bronx Post, as you can see by my official New York City press card. I write for the Bronx Post and Parkchester Times, both like this show, are part of Parrot Media Corporation. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, along with Facebook pages 100% and What is Going On in Your Community Board. The views expressed on this show are that of the host, any guests that are on, and anyone commentating at the bottom of the screen, and not necessarily those of Parrot Media Corporation. Let's go to a quick weather report. Today, Friday, will be a high of 48, with the temperature getting as high as 58 tomorrow on Saturday, with a late chance of a shower. On Sunday, the temperature will drop to 37. It will feel real cold, and 38 on Monday, but the 50s will return on Tuesday. Now, my guest today is Grace Marrero, who ran last year in the 80th Assembly race, and the assemblyman who had only had two opponents, got less than 60% of the vote, which is quite unusual for a Democrat Democrats used to get 90% or better in the Bronx. So let me see if I can bring on Grace, Mr. Producer. Let me bring on my host and welcome you. Grace is running for borough president, and she has the Republican and conservative lines, so she will be on the ballot. And she will be facing either Rafael Salamanca, who is running, he's a term limited out city councilman from the South Bronx, or the current borough president, Vanessa Gibson. So let me say hello to Grace, and if you have anything to say about, I know it's petition time right now, you're out collecting petitions. So let us, tell the audience why you're running for borough president.
Well, I'm running for borough president because, like you said, people are fed up. People are fed up with the same old nonsense. People are fed up with the Democratic Party, and now is the time for things to change. If people want things to change, they need to vote differently and stop voting the same people in all the time. So I'm running because I'm a community person. I don't have any ties to any developers or any kind of big entities at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't. Vanessa, well, I don't know how to say this, but yeah, Vanessa and I have butted heads before. I don't like what she's done. A lot of people don't like what she's doing to the Bronx, and it's time for a change. It's time for a new leadership, a new face, a new ideas. Because it's the same ideas over and over again, the same agenda, and it's got to stop.
Now, Grace, you've been involved with a recent fire that happened, 2 weeks ago? Can you tell
January
us?
10th. It's
January
over a month.
10th.
It's almost 2 months now.
Okay. And what have you been doing to help the tenants who have been displaced?
Well, I set up, initially I set up a drop-off, a donation drop-off. I asked for donations. I had a drop-off point at Allerton Avenue, and working with Friends of Pelham Parkway, they had a drop-off point at Starbucks on Pelham Parkway. And so we got really a lot of great donations, and we've been giving them out. We gave out a bunch to the people who were displaced. Pretty much like not too long after the fire itself, maybe within that week, we received tons of donations. I still have tons of donations that I'm going to be giving away this Saturday at the Allerton Library from 3 to 4. We might be able to do from 12 to 1:30 if we get everything set up. So, but officially it's from 3 to 4 because we're having my block association meeting from 2 to 3 first, and then I'll be giving away clothes. But we're giving out clothes. I've been in contact with a lot of the people from the fire. I've had at my January meeting, I had a guest speaker, Raquel Tolinche, who was in a fire back in 2016, right there on Barnes. That was another big fire. And the experiences that she's had with the city, it took over 4 years for her to get stable housing. She was bounced around from shelter to this and that and denied services. And she fought for what she has. So she was there. She gave them advice on what to do, what to apply for everything, and what they can expect in the years to come, because this is not going to go away. This is for the long haul. People are going to forget about them. People probably have already put that out of their head, but this is going to take years for them to get settled. And we have a double tragedy because the kids now, that the people are getting taken out of the hotels now and being put in shelters. Now the shelters they're being put in, they got people in Harlem and Chinatown and Brooklyn, all over the place. And the kids that go to school here at PS 76 or 89 or 135 and PS 96, now they're doubly displaced because now they don't have their home, and now they also don't have the teachers and the friends that is their comfort. That's their comfort zone.
Yeah, Grace,
So
I
something
understand.
really needs to be done to help these people.
Yes, Grace, because shelters are being built here in Community Board 11 in the Bronx, in the East Bronx. But here now you're saying that they're moving people to shelters in other parts of the city. So we don't have a shelter here that they can come to. But let's get into some other community business. Community Board 10 had a public hearing on Bally's proposal on Tuesday for their casino, hotel, and more. And it appears that the land grab of Parkland keeps getting bigger. 2 weeks ago, Bally's had a community meeting where they said 17.4 acres of Ferry Point Parkland would be alienated. Last week, it went up to 18 acres. And from what I understand, at the Tuesday meeting, they said they wanted 19 acres of parkland. So they could build a 500,000 square foot gambling hall along with a 500-room hotel, a spa, meeting space, retail shops, and a 2,000-seated event, and 2 parking garages with a capacity for up to 4,660 cars. And that's according to the Bronx Times. Now, Bally's casino plan, they say, would add 3.1 million square feet of a complex to Ferry Point Park. Now, 3.1 million equals 71 acres. And at 43,560 square feet an acre, that's not 17.4, 18, or 19, but 71 acres of the 413.8 acres that make up Ferry Point Park. So I'm thinking maybe that the 17.4, 18, or 19 number was the percentage of the parkland that Bally's was going to take for its projected casino, hotel, and parking garage. Any comment on that Bally's proposal?
Well, I'm against the Bally proposal for a number of reasons. Number one, it's going to bring crime and all kinds of problems, especially in a community that doesn't have so many problems like that. The Throgs Neck community and over there by Ferry Point Park, it's a relatively low density area. They don't have the crime that we may have in the Allerton and Morris Park and Van Nest area, Pelham Parkway. And it's going to ruin the neighborhood. That's number one. It's going to bring crime. It's going to bring people are going to go to the gamble from all over, not just from the Bronx. They're going to come from all over, from different states, or Jersey, Connecticut, Westchester, and just even from, you're going to bring the dregs of society. I believe that's what it attracts. You're going to have prostitution outright. It's just, and then you're going to have people
Well,
that are going to get
we don't
addicted
know
to
about that,
gambling.
but we've seen that at other casinos and
Right.
all over. Okay, now there's a couple of questions coming up. Kevin wants to know if you're going to keep the tour of the Bronx. That's the bicycle around the Bronx. I see no
I don't
reason
know.
why.
We'll talk, Kevin.
I think you
Yeah,
should
I
talk
don't
to
see a
Kevin.
problem with it. I got to see what the, the route is. It really is not, from what I've seen, it really hasn't been a disruptive to
Okay.
the Bronx, to the community. I mean, so you shut down the roads one day out of the year. I mean, that's okay. I don't think that's a problem. And depending on what the route is, but we'll see. I mean, I don't see a problem with keeping that. I haven't heard any people object to it. And again, now if I get a flood of objections to it, then I'd have to take it under advisement. That's all.
And AJ wanted to know about cases 116 and 117 that were in the ethics committee. They made a decision. It went to the full board, and now the chair has kicked it back to the ethics committee.
Yes.
Any comment on that? Just quickly.
Well, yes, because I'm part of that.
Yeah,
I'm
full
117.
disclosure. 116 is a case that I brought up, and 117 is a case that Grace brought up.
Exactly. So I'm part of that. So basically, last night at the community board meeting, when they kicked it back to ethics, and again, the way they spoke to people, and the way they interrupt, and the way they disregard what people's concerns, just goes to show that this community board is so dysfunctional now that we need a new Bronx Borough president that can fix it. Put people on the board who are actually from the community, that are going to do the right thing. And listen, they're kicking it back to the ethics committee is starting from square one. I've already put in another complaint against another board member, and I'm going to redouble down on my complaint against Debbie Kowalik, because I have other information now. But for them to do that, it's like they keep passing the buck. And so, what happens next?
Great. I'm going to give you a comment because many members on this board are so new. About almost half that board has no experience. Okay,
No,
and
they don't.
The chair of the board has only 2 years of experience on that board.
Right.
And for her to kick back my case, which was a decision, and even the district manager said your motion failed, 2 votes in favor, 0 against, and 2 abstentions. Okay, at this point, my case at least should be going up to the borough president. In the bylaws of Community Board 11, it says that when they can't reach a conclusion, it goes up to the borough president. So I don't know what the borough president is waiting for.
Listen, at the last ethics committee meeting in February, this last one that we were at, I was told via the grapevine, if you will, that other actions were supposed to be taken against Ms. Kowalik.
All right. Well, I don't want to really go into that right now. I'm running short on time. Okay.
Well, I should have been. My case was also founded. My case it should have been kicked up to the Bronx Borough President's office, or the Conflict of Interest Board, or whoever's that. But to kick it back to the Ethics Committee is just that was the wrong decision.
I want to move on. Measles is now out. There's a measles outbreak. There's cases in Texas of first death from measles in the U.S. in a decade. There's now 124 cases and counting. 3 cases have come out in New Jersey, 2 in New York City. What's your opinion on the measles? I mean, do you think people should be vaccinated for measles? I know I had measles when I was a kid, so I had German measles also. I don't know. You want to say anything about the measles outbreak?
Well, I had measles as a kid too, and chicken pox. Didn't have whooping cough though. But listen, if people want to get, I don't believe in vaccinations. I've done a lot of research on them. I used to get the flu shot. I got my grandkids when I had custody of them. I've got my daughter. I got them shots. They got their vaccination for school. If I had to do it over again, I would not do it, because you have to look at the ingredients in those shots. And it's not just COVID. It's not just the measles shots. None of that. every vaccine, all the childhood vaccines, all the vaccines that they want to give you have dead babies in it. It's called MRC1. That's from aborted fetal tissue. I'm a practicing Christian, not Catholic, Christian, and I believe in the sanctity of life. And to have that poison, have remnants of an aborted baby put in my body or other people's body. Now, if you want to do it, you want to make a decision. That's your decision to make. I would not do it. I would take my chances again. I would not do it. I would not get my kids vaccinated or anything like that. But if
Okay,
people want to choose to do it, that's on them.
now I got to go to a commercial right now. I want to keep you on when I come back. It's going to be a short commercial. I want to talk about congestion pricing and the mayor's race with you. So let's go to a commercial right now, and we'll come back with some more talk after the commercial.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, welcome back. And my guest is Grace Marrero, the Conservative and Republican Party candidate for borough president. Grace, are you still here?
I'm here.
Okay, let's get into congestion pricing. The Trump administration ordered a stop to the program, which started on January 5th. It's a $9 toll on most vehicles entering Manhattan in the Midtown Manhattan area, and it's going to go up to $15 soon. That was the original price. She held back on it because of the election. She didn't want upstate Congress members to be, hit with it so they wouldn't get elected. But now Trump has said congestion pricing is dead. Long live the king. New York is saved. The governor immediately fired back. New York hasn't labored under the king in 250 years. We sure as hell aren't going to start now. And she said that we are going to continue, and she's defying the president. Any comments on congestion pricing and the governor's defense?
Well, the congestion pricing is just another way to try to get rid of cars because there's a plan to have 15-minute cities, okay? There's already some 15-minute cities in the United States, in Europe, all over the place. And this is for total control. I like cars. I like to drive. I don't have a car now, but I will hopefully in the future. I know Kevin doesn't like, he was part of Transportation Alternatives, who they want to get rid of cars. They want, they have some idea that it's going to be a Shangri-La without cars, and that's not the case. It's a money grab. It's another added tax, and it's hitting the people, the middle class, that pays for everything right now. We can't, because millionaires and billionaires can move to wherever they want. They don't have to be here. They get hit with more taxes, they're gone.
Right, Trump moved to Florida.
Right, middle class people, where are they going to go?
Mm-hmm.
So no, and I think I knew that Hochul was going to bring it back once the election was over. I don't know who she thought she was kidding, but we knew that was going to happen. So I'm totally against it, and she's defying a federal order for that.
Well, she's not defying it yet. It's going to go into effect, I believe, in 2 weeks. So, all right,
listen. She, along with her staff, or whoever is defying the orders, need to be arrested and tried for sedition and treason. That's my opinion.
And not only that, but she'll be looking for a new running mate because it appears Lieutenant Governor Anthony Delgado is not running with her next
No.
year. He's
No,
declared that he's not going to run with her. That she's
no,
having
because
problems with him.
they see the writing on the wall, Bob. They're going down. They
Okay,
they're not going to keep this gravy train going anymore. People have had it. We've had it.
let's continue though with Kathy, with the governor, because she's proposing some restrictions on Mayor Adams, but first has to go through the state legislature, which
Mm-hmm.
most assembly members, including the speaker Carl Hasty, are I don't know if we can do this. Mayor Adams and Mayor Adams has shot back at the governor, trying to curtail his powers. He said finally questions about the Justice Department controversial move to toss his corruption case out. They're trying to tie him to Donald Trump. Any opinions on what Kathy Hochul is trying to do and Mayor Adams in general?
Well, why didn't Kathy Hochul or even Cuomo at the time deal with de Blasio? Why is it when it's just a power grab? She's just trying to make a statement. Why didn't she get rid of Alvin Bragg when people were at her doorstep for Alvin Bragg for all his malfeasance? Why didn't she do that? She's only doing this because Trump is involved. That's it. That's her power play. I don't know what she thinks she's going to accomplish, and I don't necessarily agree with Adams. If he's going to switch to, I hear he's going to be switching
No,
to
he's
Republican, maybe.
getting petitions on the Democratic line.
Okay, so but here's the other thing: Cuomo. They're backing Cuomo.
That was my next point.
If people don't remember, Cuomo as governor was one of the worst, other than his father. His father was good up until his last term. Then he just went bonkers. For some reason, when they get that third and fourth term, they just go insane. So Cuomo was bad. He caused a lot of death. We don't need him as a mayor. And I hope people are going to remember this because people have short memories. This is no joke.
Okay,
you can't have him as a mayor.
There may be someone else coming into the race. Remember Ed Schuyler, who was a deputy mayor for Michael Bloomberg? There's talk that he may come in with backing from Bloomberg because Bloomberg did not like the person who came after him. Let's see, that was Bill de Blasio. I almost forgot him.
Right.
And now with Adams, with all that's happening, Mike Bloomberg wants to bring stability back to New York City in the hands of Ed Schuyler. What do you think about Ed Schuyler coming in under?
I think Bloomberg and Ed should just go home, stay out of it, go away, because Bloomberg was no good either. He wasn't a Republican. He changed his party to Republican just because, so he could try to win, and he won with that because at at that time, again, like this time, people are fed up. People are fed up with what's going on all over the city and the Bronx, just all over the country. That's why Trump won unanimously, popular vote and the electoral vote. And so we need to keep focus on that. We need to root out the corruption. We don't need to bring those corrupt people back. Cuomo's corrupt. Bloomberg's corrupt. This Ed guy, if he was with Bloomberg, the apples don't fall far from the tree. So no, he needs to go.
This is your opinion. Now,
that's my opinion. Exactly.
Right. It seems that they're having Democratic forums for candidates for mayor, and Mayor Adams is now the only one who is skipping all of these candidates' forums. Any comment on that? And if there were forums for the November election, would you be skipping them, or do you think your opponent would be skipping them?
I wouldn't be skipping them. I don't know about Vanessa, but no, Vanessa. Hold on one second. Let me just.
Well, Vanessa, it may not be your opponent.
Right. It could be Salamanca, and I don't. Well, listen, they'll see me as a nobody, and may just not show up because they wouldn't think I'm worthy of their presence. Okay, which is fine, because if they don't show up and I show up, that's on them. But if they do show up, then we have a conversation. Then we have a discussion, and we go what they're about, what I'm about. I would not be skipping any forums at all. unless it's on a Sunday and they don't change the time, because I go to church on Sunday. I don't miss that for nobody.
Okay.
So anytime after 12 on Sunday, I'm good. Before that, no.
Let's go to the migrant crisis. Manhattan's Roosevelt Hospital is closing, which handled tens of thousands of migrants. They're closing the one on Randall's Island, yet they're opening up a 2,200 single men's shelter for the immigrants in Bruckner Boulevard.
Right.
And Councilwoman Julie Wan has introduced into the city council a bill that would prevent giving out the addresses of these shelters because she doesn't want the migrants to be caught up in any ICE things. Any comments on the migrant crisis?
Yeah, well, you say migrant, I say illegals, okay? Because they're here illegally. That I am opposed to that shelter being built, and the people from that's my old neighborhood. That's where I come from. I'm a street girl. So people from there are outraged. They don't want it in their neighborhood. You're bringing in 2,200 illegal men.
No, they're
that
not
can't
illegal.
work.
They're single homeless men. They may
Well,
not be
no,
illegal.
it was for the illegal immigrants.
Well, it's for
When you say
immigrants. We don't know if they're illegal.
Huh?
We don't know if they're illegal or not. That's
Listen,
and that's why
what
I
other
guess
migrant is there? If you're here, if you have a green card or visa, whatever, then you're not here illegally, right? So when you say migrants, they're not talking about people who have had a green card or a visa. They're not talking about those people. See, words are important. They use these semantics to fool people with their intentions. And then after people start agree and say, okay, well, it's not going to be so bad, then they hit them with the real thing. And by that time, it's too late. So no, I don't agree with it. ICE can't get here fast enough. And let me tell you something. They may try to block elected officials or official government agencies from giving out the addresses, but the people will have those addresses and they'll be giving them out. So they can try whatever they want at City Hall. There's always a way around what they do. They cannot tell people you can't give out the address. They're not going to know who has the address. People
all
that
right.
live in the neighborhood are going to have the address.
In our remaining few minutes, let's go into some federal issues. Tariffs is one that Donald Trump, our president, wants to put a 25% levy on Canada and Mexico. He's saying it's in response to the drug trade and fentanyl epidemic that's ravaged many American communities, that the drugs come from over the border through either Mexico or Canada. Any opinion on these 25% tariffs to our neighbors above and below us?
I say go for it, because our country has been taken advantage of, especially by our neighbors from the north and the south. Okay, from Europe, from all over. We are the ones, they see the United States as an ever-giving entity with no restrictions and no nothing. Well, the gravy train is over. Okay, it's got to be America first. We need to be first. We need to get our economy in order. We need to get the population in order. There's so many things that have to be fixed. So before people want to go fixing things in Ukraine or whatever, in Ukraine, that's another. All that has to go. It has to stop. If I was president, I would be an isolationist. I would close all borders until everything was fixed in here.
Well, that's
you may have to do with some things that you might get from Europe or whatever, but you know what? You deal with it, you move on.
Well, you mentioned Ukraine. Right now, President Vladimir Zelensky is meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House. And right after the show at 1 p.m., they're expected to have a press conference on what they may or may not have done.
Right.
Yes, Kevin, she's conservative. So, I mean, what do you think is going to happen out of this? I know that Donald Trump is looking to get some kind of resources back from all the money that the U.S. gave to Ukraine. They gave billions of dollars to the Ukraine. So do you think Donald Trump is going on the right track or the wrong track?
No, he's going on the right track. He's doing what the people voted him for, the majority of the country. He's doing what he was voted in for, to get rid of the corruption. I don't know if most people know this, but the Ukraine has been the money laundering center of the world. the Bidens, the Clintons, everybody, they launder their money through Ukraine. This has been going on for decades, not just recently. And another thing is people don't understand is that the war in Ukraine started by the Ukrainians. Oh, shoot. What happened here?
No, you're there. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, because I don't know. Okay, wait.
You froze, but I can hear you. So let's just continue.
All right, I can't
we're
see
at the end of the show. Are you still with me, Grace? Okay, well, I guess we're at the end of the show because my time is up. Grace? What's
I'm here.
Okay. One more final thing before we go. Again, Kevin wanted to know what party you're running on. You're running on the Republican and the conservative lines, right?
Yes, I am a registered conservative, and I recently got the endorsement of the Bronx GOP as well. So I'll be on both lines. And
instead of Eric Adams or any one of the Democrats, who will be your mayoral candidate?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Who's going to be the candidate for mayor on your party? Who are you going to be running with?
Well, the Conservative Party at this time doesn't have a mayoral candidate. However, Curtis Sliwa got the endorsement of the GOP for like 4 out of the 5 boroughs. So it's going to be Curtis unless the Conservative Party comes up with someone. At this time, I don't think that's going to happen. So
it should be Curtis on both parties then.
Well, actually, no. Curtis will be on the Republican side because Curtis has not asked for the conservative endorsement.
Oh, that's interesting.
So he's not going to be on the conservative. Not in the Bronx. I don't know about Queens, Brooklyn, the other places, but not in the Bronx. He doesn't have our endorsement because he didn't come. He didn't ask us. Which, by the way, I'm the recording secretary for the Bronx Conservative Party. Full disclosure, everything is up and above board with me. I will answer any questions, no matter how mean or nasty might be. That's fine. I'm good.
Okay.
I believe in transparency.
Okay.
That's what we don't have.
Okay, let me end the show. And thank you, Grace, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe we'll have you back on in a few months when it gets to be hot, the race, and we know who you're running against. And I want to thank my viewers. I want to thank Kevin and AJ for commenting. I wish more people would start commenting so we could hear from the other people who watch the show. And again, if you're not watching me live and you're watching me tomorrow or the next day on YouTube, I want to thank you for watching. And I'll see you next week here on Talking Politics.
Okay.
Thank you, Grace.
Thanks, Bob.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our news site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
humanity. Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, The Voice.